This is Sean Mason, the cutest little kid you could ever hope to meet. He's good looking, he's fresh face, blonde hair, lots of fun. From ages 2 to 12, I had a great time with him. It was a lot of fun. When he turned 12, things started to go downhill very fast. This is Sean Mason today. I think he's 35 years old. Sean started doing drugs when he was 16, 17, 18. Got hooked on meth when he was 19. And since then, he's just roamed the streets of LA. Occasionally he worked. Occasionally there was moments of him getting off drugs. But the majority of the last 18 years, he's been just looking for drugs. And that could be pot, alcohol, meth, LSD, heroin. I don't know if he does fentanyl. I mean, I hear it's pretty dangerous. But that's been his life. Sean Mason, my son, the heroin addict. I call him the heroin zombie. Early on in his drug career, to get money, since he was on the streets, he was stealing bicycles. I guess that's a common practice with drug addicts. You steal a bike and trade it for drugs. And you steal a bike for transportation to get to the drugs. And I heard that he was riding his bike so much that the bike riding gave him a better high. And that helped him get into rehab the first time. And I was thinking, it's like, well, that's a great story, you know. It was obviously the better high. And he went into rehab, and I think then he came to live with me after that in Venice, and he got a job with Guitar Center, and he was riding his bike 100 miles a day. He'd even ride his bike to work from Venice to Thousand Oaks. He eventually rode his bike to San Francisco, and we thought all was right with the world, but secretly he was still doing drugs at night. He was drinking or smoking pot, or he just couldn't stand it. He had to do drugs, even though the bikes were good for a while. Deep down inside, he needed, and he told me this, he needed to cover something up. Now, what the hell does that mean? But anyways, he quit his job, and he moved in with a friend in Koreatown, and they just did meth all day long. So I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to look for a reason why he was a drug addict. My ex-wife's father was an alcoholic. My grandfather was an alcoholic. Okay, there you go. That's the reason. But always looking for something else. What was he trying to cover up? And as I thought back, I realized that some decisions my ex-wife made before she was 20 really caused her tremendous mental health problems, almost insanity. Because when she couldn't get pregnant at age 30, she completely went insane. And I'm not going into details, but it was hell. And, you know, I joke about at parties, you know, I would talk to a friend and say, see all these people in this room? My ex-wife would kill all these people to get pregnant. That's how insane she was. And what I came up with was that when she finally did get pregnant with Sean, she transferred all that mental health problems, all that insanity right into him. And that made sense. That made sense for I'm trying to cover something up. And since then, I've been working on his story for 18 years. It's cathartic, you know. I try to write about it, and try to figure out what happened, and in the story, in this final version that I'd like to make, he's saved. He's saved by the bicycles. He's saved by a lot of other things, but in my story, he's saved, even though in real life, he's still a heroin addict. So, as I mentioned before, I've been working on this script for 16, 17 years, ever since I first heard that bikes, riding the bikes tried to save him or change his point of view, got him into rehab. And I've written several versions, and the first version I wrote, which is playing now, I created a proof of concept. It's naive, it's simple. He he gets hooked on meth, he rides a bike, he gets saved. It's pretty simple, it, you know. But since then, I've done a lot of research, talked to a lot of people, a lot of script writers, and I've realized that you really have to beat up your protagonist. I mean, beat him up. Every scene. Make life hell. So in the new version, Sean suffers a lot. And I've added the mental health component and how it affects him and the covering up of whatever his mother gave him. I don't even know if that's true. It just sounds good in the story. So at the moment, I am trying to raise $60,000 with this Kickstarter page to film 5 scenes, because Angel Studios will not look at any new material unless you bring 5 well-constructed, well-filmed, edited, beautiful 5 scenes together. And that's what I plan on doing. I've picked 10 pages of the script. They're exciting, lots of tragedy, kind of shows what Sean's going through. And with $60,000, I should be able to create these 5 or 6 scenes and get them to Angel Studios. And if they're uninterested, well, at least we'll have 5 scenes to shop the movie around. So I appreciate your help. $60,000 is a lot of money, but I really think I need that much to really get the most out of these pages that I've selected. So we've been trying to get Sean off drugs for 15 years. We've tried counseling and rehab and counseling and rehab and rehab and rehab and more counseling, more rehab, methadone, what the state was offering. Someone said, hey, you go ahead and spend $60,000 on a Malibu rehab center. But the problem is California law says you can't be held against your will. If you want to walk out, you can walk out. And that's what he's been doing. We struggled to get him in, and he walks out in a day or an hour. So over these 15 years, he's had a lot of medical problems. Weird diseases, kidney problems. He got in a fight, got hit with a pipe, broke his hand, got bit by a dog. I'm surprised that Sean's still alive. My new suggestion, my new idea is to make this movie, get people involved, have them enjoy the story, and then watch my version of Sean in the movie succeed and save himself. And then at the end of the film, to put it out to the universe and direct it towards Sean and just say, Sean, you're worth saving. Save yourself. Save yourself, Sean. So if I can get 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, a million people all directing their energy towards Sean at the end of the film, you never know. It might help. I've heard the power of prayer when someone's in trouble. So I think just directing your individual energy towards Sean, just out in the universe, it couldn't hurt. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. And let's see if we can help Sean. Thank you.